Welcome to the Complete AI Guide, your commute-friendly episode brought to you by GeorgeEbbyMatthew.com.
We're so glad you're here with us. And just a quick note, we are now on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and wherever you get your podcasts.
So please do like, follow, share, and subscribe. That way you won't miss a single episode.
All right, let's get into it.
So we're diving straight into what I think is the biggest hurdle for C-suites, for managers, for anyone trying to make AI actually stick.
Right. Because so often when you talk about AI success, the conversation immediately goes to the technical stuff.
Exactly. It's always, data governance, cleaning up legacy databases, optimizing the algorithms, the hard tech.
But our research is, it's absolutely definitive on this point.
Mm-hmm.
The real success, scaling AI successfully, it's much less about the code.
And overwhelmingly more about the people.
Yeah.
It's about navigating that cultural upheaval and really getting into the mindsets of your team.
That's the core of it, really. AI adoption, it triggers this very specific foundational fear.
And it's often unspoken, isn't it?
Completely. It's not just a general resistance to change. It's a direct threat to an individual's personal relevance. We're talking about smart, skilled people worrying that their expertise could be obsolete, in months, not years.
Mm-hmm.
And our research has identified these 6, let's call them human tribes, that are really shaping whether AI adoption succeeds or fails inside a company.
And that's our whole mission for this episode. We're going to unpack the characteristics, the feelings, and the behaviors of these 6 archetypes.
The goal here is to give you, our listener, a framework, a way to spot these tribes in your own organization.
Because recognizing what's going on under the surface, that fear, that's really the first step to making any real change.
It is.
Okay, so before we meet the tribes, let's just set the stage a little. Resistance to new tech is not new, right? We've seen this movie before.
Oh, absolutely. Digital transformation, legacy modernization programs going back to the 80s. People are naturally cautious when their whole workflow gets turned upside down.
But AI feels different. Our research really emphasizes this. Why is that?
It feels different because it's perceived as a personal threat. Yeah. Historically, a new CRM or some new software, it changed how you did your job.
It made you faster, maybe, but you still did the job.
Precisely. The threat was tactical to your efficiency. With generative AI, the threat feels existential. The algorithm is often explicitly threatening to remove the human value from the equation entirely.
So it's not just asking an analyst to use a better spreadsheet.
No. It's asking that analyst to train the model that might one day do their analysis for them. And that shift from tactical to existential fear, that's what creates these tribes.
Which creates a massive management dilemma. How do you address that fear of being replaced, especially when, let's be honest, the whole business case for AI often comes from staff reductions on the P&L?
That's the elephant in the room, the fear of the pink slip. And when leadership tries to hide that, when they dodge the conversation about job impact, it doesn't calm anyone down.
No, it just makes it worse.
It creates a vacuum. And that vacuum gets filled with anxiety and speculation, which is the perfect breeding ground for all the negative behaviors we're about to talk about.
Okay, so if the challenge is fear, the solution is cultural navigation. Let's start with the good news. The groups driving adoption forward. The acceleration tribes.
The evangelists and the natives.
First up, the AI evangelists. The champions. I think we all know these people. They're high energy, optimistic, just completely focused on the future.
The classic early adopters. For them, AI isn't just a tool. It feels like a superpower. It makes them feel empowered, excited. They see it as something that augments their skill, not replaces it.
And their behavior is, it's infectious.
It can be. They're the ones actively hunting for use cases, volunteering for every beta test, and then they become the unofficial trainers for their whole team.
They're the person at the company meeting saying, look, this took me 4 hours last week and the agent did it in 30 minutes. We need this now.
Yes. They share success stories, they run pilot programs, sometimes without permission, and they just pull the organization forward with their sheer enthusiasm.
But you've mentioned there's a downside to that, right?
There can be. We have to pause here because while they're crucial, that same enthusiasm can sometimes alienate the very people they're trying to convince. It can sound a little tone-deaf to someone who's genuinely worried about their job.
So leaders have to channel that energy, but maybe coach them on a bit of empathy.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. Now for the next group, the generation that almost expects this stuff by default, the AI natives.
For this tribe, AI is like the air they breathe. It's not some new tool they have to learn. It's just this invisible, expected layer that should already be there.
Are just intuitive with it.
Completely. And they feel intense impatience with any kind of friction. Manual processes feel archaic to them.
They're the ones who will just bypass the official IT approval process to find a faster solution on their own.
And you'll hear them asking, wait, why are we doing this manually? There has to be an agent for this. They automate everything by default.
But is this tribe really widespread yet? I mean, in big established companies?
That's the nuance. Our research suggests that outside of startups, it's probably premature to say most organizations have a big population of true natives. There's just too much legacy tech in the way.
So where do we see them?
Well, any data scientist or machine learning engineer you've hired in the last 10 years, they should be behaving like a native. They are the closest archetype we have right now in most places.
Got it. Okay, that brings us to the group that I think is the most important, the one that decides if any of this actually scales, the AI migrants.
This is the silent majority. This is the critical mass of your workforce.
And they're pragmatic, but they're cautious.
Yes, they feel this mix of real curiosity and deep anxiety. They feel the pressure to keep up, but the pace of change is just so much faster than they're used to.
So they're kind of standing at the edge of the pool, right? Willing to dip a toe in. Their behavior is really about learning in these short bursts.
They require two things, and these are non-negotiable. First, structured, simple guidance. And second, and this is critical, psychological safety.
The safety to try and fail without getting in trouble.
If you don't give them that safety net, they will just stop trying. They're the ones who say, look, I'm willing to try this, but I need to know I won't break anything.
Or get themselves fired.
Or get themselves fired. They show up to the trainings, they ask really good questions, and they slowly start to use AI, task by task. If you can win over the migrants, you win. You scale.
Okay, so we have the drivers. Now for the flip side, the groups that generate those invisible headwinds, the ones that can stall everything.
The tribes of resistance. And leaders have to spot these behaviors early because they can infect the migrants. We're talking about the agnostics, the rebels, and the saboteurs.
Let's start with the AI agnostics.
Okay, so the agnostics are defined by skepticism, detachment. They've seen corporate fads come and go. They see all the AI buzz, but they just don't buy the hype.
They feel indifferent, maybe a little cynical.
Exactly. And they often feel very secure, thinking their specialized expertise can't possibly be touched by an algorithm.
So their resistance is passive. They're not fighting it in meetings. They're just ignoring it, sticking to their old ways.
That's it. Their motto is basically, I've seen this before, it'll blow over, I'll just stick with what works. They don't sign up for the new tools, they ignore the updates, and they just wait for the project to lose funding.
And this is where you made that great distinction between avoidance and active resistance.
Right. Agnostic avoidance is like tax avoidance.
Huh?
They're operating within the rules to minimize their engagement. The next tribe, the rebels, they're more like tax evaders. They're actively breaking the rules.
Okay, let's talk about them. The AI rebels.
The rebels are vocal. They're fiercely protective of human judgment, of human context. They see automation as a degradation of quality, of professional standards, of ethics.
So they feel threatened, defensive, but their motive in their own mind is often quite noble.
Oh, very much so. They feel a moral duty to protect the human touch. Their resistance is active and it's public. They will openly challenge the efficacy of the AI in a group setting.
Right. They're the ones saying an algorithm can never understand the nuance of this client relationship.
Or the system might be faster, but it's killing creativity. They'll loudly flag all the risks and advocate for these human-only swim lanes, even when AI could do most of the work faster and just as well.
So the agnostics avoid, the rebels debate, which brings us to the final and most dangerous group.
The AI saboteurs.
Mm-hmm.
These people are, well, they're subversive. They are genuinely destructive. They work in the shadows, and they're fueled by a deep hostility and resentment.
For them, AI is an existential enemy. It has to be defeated.
Yes, and their behavior is about calculated disruption. They want to prove that the technology is a catastrophic failure. Publicly, they might not say a word.
But privately?
Privately, they're spreading fear, whispering things like, this system is going to get us all fired. But their actions are what's really devastating.
What do they do?
They might intentionally misuse the tools to generate terrible results. They might exploit vulnerabilities to crash the system, or, and this is the most worrying, they can actively poison the data sets.
Feeding the models bad data so the output is useless.
Exactly. To make sure the system fails to learn and looks like a failure.
So how does a manager tell the difference between a saboteur poisoning data and just a confused migrant who made an honest mistake?
It really comes down to intentionality and spotting a pattern. A migrant, if they feel safe, will ask for help. A saboteur acts with premeditation, often targeting high-visibility projects to cause the most damage to trust in the system.
That's chilling. Okay, let's wrap this up. What are the key takeaways for leaders trying to guide their teams through this?
The main takeaway is that the success or failure of scaling your AI pilots. It all hinges on recognizing these 6 groups. It's that simple.
Because if you ignore the agnostics and the rebels, you're just fighting these invisible headwinds forever.
You'll stall out at 10% adoption. But if you fail to identify the saboteurs, your data integrity, even your corporate security, is genuinely at risk. These human behaviors shape your culture way more than any strategy deck ever will.
So the goal isn't to force everyone to become an evangelist. That's not realistic.
Not at all. The goal is strategic human movement. You need to guide the agnostics, the passive resistors, into becoming curious migrants.
And what about the rebels?
You have to move the rebels from being blockers into being constructive critics. They have real expertise. If you listen to their concerns about ethics and nuance, they can become your greatest allies in managing risk.
So it's about culture management as a core business strategy.
That's the only way it works.
These 6 tribes are really influencing the next chapter of work for all of us. So here's a final thought to take with you. Which tribe do you see yourself in today?
And, more importantly, which tribe will you choose to be in 5 years? What kind of strategic movement does your own organization need right now to really shift that needle?
That's all we have for this episode.
Thank you for joining us on the Complete AI Guide podcast.
And please, like, follow, share, and subscribe so that you don't miss the next episode. And don't forget to check out our brand new masterclass on www.georgeebbymatthew.com/masterclass.